This year has been fantastic for anime, for manga, for art in general, but the one that has impacted me the most, other than Danadan, because I think that's very special, is Lookback by Tatsuki Fujimoto and Studio Durian. I think the Lookback movie is something special. It's short, sweet, simple, very sad, but very important, very powerful. I think it does so much for creatives and artists specifically. It shows the struggles, the hardships, the ups and downs of that creative process, but it also shows the accomplishments, the fun, the worth, the drive, the willingness to continue pursuing what you want to do. And it's this back and forth tug of war pretty much with yourself. That is narratively. On the technical side, the work that has gone into producing Lookback's movie is phenomenal. Trying to mimic the art style of Tatsuki Fujimoto in such a beautiful way. Everything is handcrafted to perfection, or should I say imperfection. The whole point of Lookback's production is to mimic the imperfect perfects of the manga experience converted to animation. So lines are rough and transparent and layered over the top of each other to look and feel like something that Tatsuki Fujimoto would produce. It's not mimicry, but evolution. You can see the artistic soul and vision woven into every single frame. Nothing has gone untouched. This is a passion project at its core. And for a story that is all about the ups and downs and the passion towards that creative process, because of that, you have such a beautiful marriage of ideas. It's time I come out and reveal my secret. I love Fujimoto. I've been a big fan of his for a very long time. I think he's wonderful. His work, his ideas, the creative process, the ups and downs, the things that he does for his stories, for his world, for his characters just feels different. And you personally might not understand what I'm talking about, but you might have a similar reaction to other authors. Like just for a moment, think about an author that moves you, how they write their characters, how they interact with the reader, how they craft this beautiful, seamless world. Instantly, someone should come into your mind. Many authors might even come into your mind, and that's a beautiful thing to have. That's what I have for Fujimoto. That's what I have for someone like Sue Ishida, Tokyo Ghoul and Choujin X's author. There's something about them that feels different. So when Lookback came out, blown away. A very lengthy one-shot in the break between Chainsaw Man and Chainsaw Man Part 2. We didn't even know we were going to get it. Not a lot of authors, especially successful weekly authors, would do something like this. This was kind of different. This was kind of a curveball, and yet it hit all the right notes. Just like the movie variant, the manga captured the world. Other authors, creatives, artists all across the globe were praising this one-shot, and for one good reason. You could relate. If you are an artist, if you are an author, even if you are a creative person in any field that isn't even remotely close to artwork, you could still relate. And that's a powerful thing to have. But you know what's even more powerful? The fact that this story is a self-insert, or really touch people past the creative influence and recognition that this was a story personal to Tatsuki Fujimoto. Admittedly, you don't get that often from authors. They don't like to put themselves bare in their pages, but you could argue that they already do that for the works that they're producing, but something about this one felt almost one-to-one. Like this is an experience, an acknowledgement, a nod to his past, to his childhood, even to his prior assistants, and even just his outlook on the creative process. Being an artist and struggling to do so. Juggling life and art, the wants and needs, the likes and dislikes, and trying to form that into a coherent feeling. What should one do? How should one approach this? So while you're relating with the idea itself, you're also personally connecting with Fujimoto as a creative. And I can't tell you how powerful that feels, how personal that feels. I think that is a very rare, almost once in a lifetime opportunity that you can have. So when I found out that it would be getting an anime, admittedly, I was worried. The industry is a harsh environment, very corpo-led. It's all about the money, it's all about business. But this is a story about passion, about art, about life woven within it. You can't corpo greed that, right? Right? When I seen the trailer for Lookback's anime by Studio Durian, any sort of concern that I had, gone. Just completely out the window. I knew that this was in the best hands possible. Arguably the best hands in the industry. That regardless of money, time, situation, whatever, that they would do everything within their power to produce the most beautiful experience that you could get. A perfect love letter to Fujimoto himself. And did they knock it out the park? They knocked it into orbit, into outer space, arguably the best anime experience of a lifetime. Something that is inherently life-changing, that I think anyone and everyone of all ages should actually watch. And I'm not trying to gas it up artificially. I believe the words that I'm saying, that this is one of the most important pieces of animation to come out in a very, very long time. And I think it centers itself perfectly. A hallmark, a classic for the entire industry, both manga and anime. That is quite a hefty title, but I think it is fitting. I think it's necessary. Even the work that Studio Durian and the director Oshiyama has personally done is ridiculous, putting it simply. There's so much known beauty about this work, but I can only imagine the unknown beauty that has gone into its production. The rough sketches, the ins and outs, the skeletal structure and the bones of this work. We're gorging ourselves on the beautiful meat of this production, but just imagine its core, its center. Right in the middle of all of that has to be passion, because there's no way that you produce this without passion. There's no way that you get anywhere close to this amount of personalized perfection without utter respect and passion for this author and for their work. Simply, you can tell that everyone that has touched this, from animation to writing to voice acting to the music, knew what the requirements were, and they knew where that end goal was, to create one of the most memorable experiences in a lifetime. Something that will touch every single person on this planet that watches it. Something that changes the vision and outlook on artists and the creative process. It's not about money, but I am so glad that it is doing well, that it's going into so many cinemas across the globe, and now it's getting a rerun again in a lot of cinemas. You don't get that often. Very rarely you get that with mainstream anime movies. I'm talking Kaizen, I'm talking Demon Slayer. This is a one-shot story that's not even an hour long by an author that is very recently hot and topical. To be honest, I think people needed this. I think I needed this. I think a lot of people that don't think they need it actually need it. For a long time, I claimed Lookback to be Tatsuki Fujimoto's magnum opus, and I still believe in those words. A lot of people told me, nah, it's Goodbye Eri, or it's Chainsaw Man, or it's Fire Punch. And honestly, all respectable choices, but now that I've seen this anime, now that I've seen the reception globally twice, everybody has connected with this story on both accounts, both its manga and its anime. Two different mediums coming together in beautiful harmony that resonates with the masses. It's his magnum opus. And that's not to say that Goodbye Eri, his other one-shot that come after, couldn't capture the world again once that gets the movie and the excitement, for sure, but it's a different experience. It's a different story. Like I said at the beginning, Lookback feels personal. It feels like a slice of Fujimoto. You can relate with what he's trying to tell you, but you can also relate with what he's personally experiencing. And when you can combine all those things together, by the end of it, you're left speechless. When the credits roll, when that one beautiful, perfect music plays, Light Song by this artist right here, you just sit there in awe, speechless, not saying nothing, probably crying. And you will sit through that whole credit scene, silent. 10 minutes after the movie's ended, silence. 30 minutes after the movie's ended, silence. It does that to you. You will sit there and absorb it, taking it all in, and connecting personally, one-to-one, with Tatsuki Fujimoto, Studio Durian, Oshiyama, and every person that has put their soul into this work. It is quite easily a life-changing experience.